of how to combine living a single life. So, hi, my friends call me Lime, and how do you combine living a gay life with believing that homosexuality is a sin? It is actually possible, and I'm going to share how Christians have done this with a clear conscience. Now, I should mention that I'm not Christian myself, which is why I'm basing this video on the ideas of Christians. So I'm going to discuss these ideas, and then I'm going to tie it all together into the main point of this video, so stay until the end. Now, you don't have to look far on the internet to realize that sex is important for your health. It boosts your immune system, it lowers stress, it lowers risk for heart failure, it eases pain, it helps you get a better night's sleep, sexual activity plays a strong role in human bonding, and I think most of us know how wonderful it is to fall in love, and so I feel that it's such a shame when people feel obligated to choose between this and their religious beliefs. It creates this inner conflict. Well, then you just go to therapy and turn straight or pray the gay away. But what do you do when that doesn't work? Some people work hard in trying to change but fail, so I think that we can at least agree that some are just not able to change, or are granted change if we want to put it that way. So for the sake of this video, let's just say that a sexuality can't be changed. And some of you might argue that homosexuality is not a sin, and so there's no problem to solve. And while I agree with you, this video is for those who believe that it is a sin. And so let's also say that any sex that isn't between a man and a woman within marriage is a sin. Now, what do you do? What many Christians say is that we're all sinners, and if homosexuality is a sin, then it's a sin like any other, just like swearing, gossiping, porn, masturbation, sex outside of marriage, eating too much, and lying. And God still loves you regardless if you do these things or not. And these arguments might work for some, but I'm thinking that even if all sins are equal and God still loves you, it doesn't really justify seeking sin out, which you would if you go looking for a same-sex relationship. With that said, when unmarried straight couples have sex, even though it's technically against their religion, they don't experience nearly as much stigma for it, and I'm sure they still go to heaven despite these actions, and so gay couples should feel just as guilt-free as these straight couples do. Actually, they should feel even less guilty because there's no risk of accidentally creating children, so one of the biggest reasons for not having sex outside of marriage is eliminated. Now, I'm sure there's STDs, but you don't need marriage to prevent that. You just need a steady enough relationship and a condom. So then, let me share that another Christian said that sin can alter the way some people are born. Basically, he believes that sin created diversity in sexuality. So while homosexuality is unnatural because God originally intended attraction between opposite sex couples, it's still natural because the reality now is that some are created that way. And in response to our natural selves, we should do what is healthy and right for us, as long as the relationships are built on informed consent and mutual attraction. An argument that I want to add to support this is that we have examples of sin-altering biology. Women are built to feel tremendous pain when giving birth because of sin. But that doesn't mean that they should stop giving birth. In fact, it's very important that they do. It only means that it's no longer done in the optimal way that God intended it from the beginning. And same thing with love and sex. It's still important to express our romantic and sexual attraction, even though the relationships we enter aren't the optimal and heterosexual ones. It may not be exactly as God planned, but love and consensual lovemaking are still beautiful things, as opposed to hate, rape, and murder. Now, let me underline this. Neither of us are of the opinion that you should do whatever you want because it makes you happy. You can't justify rape with "it made me happy." Thank you. So, I'm only talking about adult people consensually expressing their sexual and romantic attraction for each other. I'm excluding everything else. Please keep this in mind. Now, inspired by the ideas of these Christians, I have another solution. If you're gay and unable to change, then you have two choices. You could either choose to not act upon it, and so never experience what life has to offer through romantic and sexual love. Or you could choose to act upon it despite it being a sin. And the reason I feel that makes sense is because love creates love. You may already act upon other kinds of love, like friendship, for example. And if you also let yourself act upon your attraction, then both you and your partner will have even more love and happiness to give to the world, because you can only give as much as you have. So even though it's technically a sin, it actually does a lot of good. And I think gay couples would be very forgiven by their God if their reason for acting upon the attraction for each other is because they want to spread as much love as possible. You can even quote him the Bible if you want to. Romans 13:10. Love does no harm to our neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. Your words. So with all these arguments in mind, I really think that if you're gay, then living a gay life is justified. So go out and enjoy life, fill yourself with love and start sharing it, because that is what the world really needs the most. Now, 3 things that I want to end with is that 1, I'm completely open to the possibility that for some, attraction is a distraction rather than a helper to do good, and these people are probably the ones becoming nuns, monks, or decide to live a single life. And 2, I'm intending these arguments to only include those who are able to feel sexual and romantic attraction, but if asexual aromantics have use for these arguments, then awesome. And 3, I don't actually view homosexuality as a sin, and so my first response wouldn't be the above, but instead to contact a church that doesn't view homosexuality as a sin and give their arguments a full and honest chance. And hopefully they'll realize that the homo-friendly interpretation makes more sense. So thank you for watching. If you like these kinds of videos, then click that subscribe button. And if you have another solution of how to combine living a gay life with believing that homosexuality is a sin, then please tell me in the comments below. I'll see you there. Bye.